It's kind of mind-blowing. Stuff that was dreamed up by science fiction, we're starting to see really happen now. Will we have cars that drive themselves, replace worn-out body parts with new ones? What about telekinesis? Dan Ackerman, senior editor at CNET.com. Dan, so we'll talk about the latest, right? This is the next big thing. Jumping off point first, the latest smartphone everyone's going on and on and on about. What sort of future tech are we seeing today in this Samsung Galaxy S4?
That's the Galaxy S4. It's the latest hot phone everybody's freaking out about. It's going to come out very shortly. You know, it looks like a lot of other phones. There's only so much you can do with a big slab of glass and plastic and metal, but I think they've worked a lot of really cool features into it, particularly using the camera inside the phone to do eye tracking, which lets you really do a lot of cool interaction. Like if you're watching a video and you look away, it knows you're not watching, so it pauses the video. Or if it can tell that you're watching by looking at your eyes, it'll let you just scroll up and down text by tilting your hand. And again, if you're not looking, it turns that motion sensor off. And I think that's how you make it more organic, and that's kind of the leap over earlier phones.
Okay, so do you like it better than the iPhone?
You know, I'm starting to get a little bit of big screen envy. My iPhone only has a small 3.5-inch screen. The newer iPhone has a slightly bigger screen, but these big 5-inch phones, they seem almost like mini tablets.
But when you pick it up, I have a friend who has the Galaxy 4, right? It's just, I don't know, it feels, I don't know. And the Opera,
I feel like we're not, a lot of them have kind of plastic backs instead of metal, so even though they cost the same as the iPhone, they maybe don't feel as fancy, and I think to really be a high-end product, you got to kind of go with the industrial design.
Okay, let's look to future tech right now. We've seen these Google self-driving cars, but will cars like this be on the road soon? I mean, and is it a good thing?
I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but there are a few of these on the road right now for testing purposes. A couple of states, particularly California and I think Nevada, have made them legal to drive, to test, but you have to have somebody sitting there behind the wheel to take over just in case. They say that the technology might be ready for consumers in maybe 4 or 5 years, but I think maybe the legal stuff will take even longer than that, because how do you insure a car like this? Who's responsible? Do you have to sit there? Can you take a nap in the back seat? I think that's going to take a lot longer to figure out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this sounds a little crazy, but do you think we're soon going to be able, this has been fascinating to me, all of these like printers, these things that you should be able to print, like you can print gun parts, even body parts. I mean, are we actually going to be able to do that, you think?
I mean, I don't think anything has surprised me more in the last year or so than how fast 3D printing has taken off. I mean, you can get for a few $100s right now a printer in your house that prints basically using a plastic or a resin material, and people print iPhone cases and chess pieces. And in the lab, they're starting to work with biomaterials. So if you can have a printer that uses these biomaterials and maybe ties into your DNA, you can print something. You can either print cartilage for a knee, I mean, your doctor probably would, or they can make you an organ that your body won't reject. So it's sort of taking something that's kind of available now and adding a very medical science twist to it. Again, this is years off, but people can be able to print stuff, regular stuff in their homes pretty much now.
Now, what will they think of next? Well, maybe something like this. What about telekinesis? Moving stuff with our minds, or even communicating with our minds. Is something like this really beginning to happen?
This is another example of something that is based on a technology we have now that really feels very primitive, the brainwave detection technology. And you can get kind of gimmicky toy things where you put on a head sensor and it detects your brainwaves, and you can basically move a ball from point A to point B by concentrating or relaxing your mind. The next step is obviously taking these sensors and making them very thin, almost like they call them tattoos. They're really little tiny stickers with circuitry in them. And again, you can think left or think right or concentrate or relax, and they can't quite do a lot of things yet. They're very binary, but I think in the future they'll be able to get them to do a bunch of different things, and maybe you can sit in the back of your Google driverless car and just steer it that way.
Okay, so something that we haven't talked about, the next big thing. What do you think?
I think wearable tech is something that people are very interested in. People talk about the Google Glass. That's the eyeglasses with a little screen built in that gives you a lot of personalized info. People obviously use a lot of the health stuff right now, like the Fitbits and the Nike Fuel Band, and even that Samsung phone is going to have its own wireless health accessories. I think for the health stuff, it really works. For the Google Glass style stuff, it's kind of a little goofy. It might be just more people showing off what they can do. I can't imagine we're going to walk down the streets with TV screen glasses on.
We already have enough distractions. Thank you, Dan Ackerman. Appreciate it.